morning, everybody.
Was my 30-year reunion. I
Haven't been on in a
finally went
while.
Back home and saw all the guys that used to act.
This is gonna be a good one.
They started telling stories about all of those old times.
This is a song I wrote
Drinking, lying, stealing, we were cool.
about a night in
They
1997.
said, what in the world happened to you? We sure miss that guy. Tell us the truth. That old man, the one I made, he's buried in a watery grave in the Washita River many years ago. Yeah, he might have been a real fun guy, but in the eyes of God he died that night. Jesus saved my soul. Yeah, he sent a bearded man who told me the truth. I gave my life to Jesus. He raised me up brand new, and that's the truth.
And on January 23rd, 1997, that was the truth. That was an amazing night on the Washita River in West Monroe, Louisiana. And what happened that night, I now know, was the carnal me, the second density carnal mind version of me, did die. And that was celebrated in a water baptism, John's baptism, which is really the subject of this Lost in Translation podcast. There's an amazing scriptures in the Christian Bible and what's called the Gospels that illustrates John's baptism, John the Baptist. And but what's more significant about it is what Jesus says about John. And I'm just going to call Jesus Jesus because that's what he's known by most of the people in the world. Hebrews called him Yeshua or Yehoshua, but his mama and all of his Aramaic speaking Nazarene brothers and sisters called him Ishu Meshika, Ishu, the anointed one of God. But Jesus said that John was the greatest man born of a woman ever. But the least in the kingdom of heaven was greater than he. Now, for many, many, many years, I really didn't know what that meant. Didn't make any sense to me, ever, because Jesus, purportedly an immaculate conception, was still born of a woman. So, was he born of a woman and of the kingdom of heaven? Or was there something more to that story that is indeed lost in the Aramaic to Greek translation? And the conversion of what was truly a Aramaic love story into what is written as a Greek tragedy. But after reading the Law of One, after reading the lost scriptures, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and others, and putting all the pieces together, learning Aramaic, and immersing myself in that culture, first century culture, the picture became clear what Jesus was talking about. Jesus was talking about John being the greatest human in third density. And in order to better understand what third density is, if you haven't read The Law of One and you're not really into quantum physics, if you go back to Genesis, there are 8 densities in the scale of human evolution of the soul. In Genesis 1, it says in the beginning, but the word in Aramaic is Bereshit. It's really before the beginning. There was nothing. Basically a black hole. And that's 8th density. At the end of the scale, everything collapses in on itself. And there's 8th density. It's before the beginning of the new scale or the new projection of consciousness. The new projection of the Word. But the first projection of consciousness in the new scale is first density, and it begins with a vibration, words, sound. Let there be light is how it's recorded, but it starts with a vibration, a frequency, and that frequency is first density. And then there's light. Let there be light. And in first density, there's only the 4 basic elements: earth, wind, fire, water. And that existed for millions of years. And then there was second density. Let us create man in our image. And the hominids at the time, the versions of humans at the time, became sentient. Well, they were second. Back up. Let us create plants, trees, animals, humans, hominids. That was second density. But the transition into third density, where humans became special, we ate from a new tree, consciousness, a new projection of consciousness called third density, and we gained knowledge of the tree, consciousness, of good and evil, sentience. And that's where humans became different from all other forms of life. And for the last 75,000 years, we've been rolling in third density. And thankfully, for Earth, third density came to an end. That's what the Mayan calendar was all about in 2012. Then we had a 7-year tribulation, as recorded in Revelation. And now humans are moving into fourth density, the density of love, the kingdom of heaven. Yes. So Jesus was saying, of all the humans in third density, John is the greatest. But the least of those who move into fourth density, the kingdom of heaven, is greater in frequency and vibration in the evolution of the soul than the greatest in third density. It's great when our Father allows us to see, eyes to see and ears to hear. Now, some of you are going to struggle with this, and I get it. I used to be right where you are if you're struggling with this, and that's okay. That's okay. But the important part of this is we're there. And that those that are exiting third density life, that have made a choice of service to others, will get to take part in the fourth density experience right here on fourth density planet Earth and continue down that path. And those who made the choice of service to self, and the quickest way to describe that is the desire to control people, or just control, guilt, fear, control. I would tell you my own opinion on that is those are the people who desperately need something outside of themselves, like a government or a religion, to save them. Those people, because they've made that choice, will go further down that route and continue the evolution of their soul down that route. You can call that hell if you want. But the great news about all of this is everything and everybody ends up meeting right back together, eventually at seventh density, merging with the Father, and then collapsing in on itself in eighth density again, and a new universe and scale begins. But it's great to know that all of you who have chosen service to others, who have chosen, as Jesus taught, to see yourself as one with your Heavenly Father and one with all of creation, and to know the one and only being, and to turn inward and seek the Christ in you, the great mystery, the expectation of glory, the unspoken presence of the Father. Those of you who have made the choice and the vibratory sense are greater than the one known as John the Baptist, as recorded in the Christian Bible. So I'm going to wind up there today. I'm going to try to keep these lost in translations short, but it helps to know when reading things how they really came across the people at the time and their language, their culture, their understanding. And truly, it is the truth that you know intimately that sets you free from the illusion. I hope this finds you all well. I hope you walk in love today. Hope that this has, for some of you, triggered something, and triggered in a good way, not a bad way. I hope this has awakened something within you that you already knew. Because this is why Jesus said, there's one in you. There's an entity, a knowing, an eternal knowing that is you in all seven densities, that needs no man to teach you. I love you. Have a blessed day. Till next time. Peace out.